You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of ZenTek Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from ZenTek Consultants. I am Jim, your devilishly handsome host, and with me is my partner, who's laughing at me. Not nice.
It's Rocco.
It's Rocco.
With my delusional partner.
Delusional partner. Are you suggesting that I'm not devilishly handsome? That's very rude. I'll have you know, I look just like Santa Claus. And if you're saying that Santa Claus is ugly, we're going to have an issue. See, it's mean-spirited things like that that make me cause you to suffer through the engineering joke of the week. See, you bring this on yourself, Rocco. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Why did the software engineer go broke?
Why?
Because he used up all of his cash. Huh? Yeah, I think it may have even used that joke before, which just makes it a double whammy. Not only is it an awful joke, you've had to hear it twice. Oh, okay. So what are we doing here? Oh, I know. So today, Rocco and I are going to talk about our favorite subject, us. Well, yeah, I mean, not us specifically, but I guess something that we are, right? Which is Certified Procore Consultants. And over the last couple of years, we have, or at least I have seen just a remarkable growth in this area of ZenTek's business, right? There seems to be a really large knowledge and support gap between the out-of-the-box Procore setup and the practical setup, implementation, and kind of the daily use of this system for, general contracting firms. So much so that even Procore itself has seen that need, and they are actively expanding their partner program. And now they're actually reaching out and they're calling, qualified consultants like ZenTek to kind of help them out directly with some of their larger accounts. They're bringing us in to kind of, fill the areas where they feel they can't. And on today's show, I want to talk about what a Procore consultant does, right? Kind of, what we bring to the table and why so many folks are actively engaging with firms like ours. So Rocco, right, in terms of new business, how much are you seeing coming in the door over the last, year or so with regard to Procore help?
Yeah, it's I guess it's a good problem for us, right? But it's weekly. Like we see 1 to 2 customers reaching out, and so it's and. Yeah, I'd say that the vast majority are smaller to medium-sized firms that are looking for help.
Okay. All right. So let's kind of start off here rather by pointing out, I guess, what a certified Procore consultant does not do. We don't sell you software, right? Procore handles that directly, and it's not an area that we really ever get involved in. I mean, other than, I guess, we will do like the occasional referral of an interested company to Procore to kind of get them started. In other words, what I want to stress here is that, as a consultant, we don't work for Procore on any level. We work for you, which people tend to get confused about sometimes, right? We are not Procore's consultants. We are yours. And our focus is going to be on making sure that the Procore system is best configured for the work that you do as a company. Listen, Procore, I mean, it's a great software, right? With an incredible amount of functionality and power. But right out of the box, it's either going to be too generic for what you're trying to do or just plain overkill in what the capacity is for like 90% of the firms out there to be able to work with it effectively. Right? The truth is, it's really not meant to be fully functional on day one. Right? There is a lot of configurations and back-end process structures that need to be addressed before you roll Procore out into your production environment. Despite what the salespeople, like Rocco, despite what they might tell you, those guys are going to tell you that Procore can do everything you need it to, and they're not wrong. They're just skipping over the detailed configuration steps that you have to take to get it to work that way in order to quickly close a sale and get their commissions. And that's where a certified consultant comes in, because that's what we actually do. Right? We take that supersized system and we adapt it down to how you work as a company, rather than you trying to change the way that your people work to adapt to kind of a generic process that it comes with out of the box, and that's going to kill your productivity. So Rocco, how many companies do we see coming to us for help after Procore finishes their initial rollout because they're just not, seeing the productivity gains that they thought they were going to get?
Yeah, that's when most companies come to us. And sometimes they come to us when it's a little bit, not that it's too late, but when they're like so frustrated that we're like talking them off the edge. They're like, oh, I don't even think Procore's going to work for us anymore. And, we spent so much money on the product, and where are we? And it's, all right, let's take a step back here. Yeah. We could help you, let's just, break it down into pieces and figure out ways to work with you, because it is a monster of a product. Yeah,
exactly. We do it as said. We actually start with a lot of angry clients who are annoyed with the product. But like 9 times out of 10, like Rocco said, we can talk them off the ledge and be like, all right, this is going to do what you want. We just need to get you there. Look, consultants like ZenTek are going to help Procore users put together workflows and processes and reports and templates and meeting minutes and a dozen other items that will work as closely as possible to the way that you guys are currently running your jobs, right? Not every company is doing the same type of work or needs the same output or wants the same results from Procore. So trying to use Procore as this one-size-fits-all system, it is really doomed to fail. Don't get me wrong, right? Procore, as a company, they do a great job, fantastic job at the initial system setup, right? And helping you, import your clients and your cost codes and the like. But they don't have the time, the staff, or really the understanding of daily construction processes to adapt their system to every single company's needs, right? Look, at their heart, Procore is a software development company. They're not a construction consultant, right? Like we are. The expectation from Procore is that you, as the purchaser, you're either going to get somebody in your firm extensively trained to handle all those customization processes, right? Or go out and hire somebody who already has that background, which in today's market is not an easy find. But more commonly, right, what people wind up doing is they engage a certified consultant, right, who can come in and learn your needs and implement them in the most effective way inside of Procore. And I think that specific area, right, like Rocco was saying before, that seems to be the area where most people get frustrated with the Procore system and they start to think about dropping it. Right? They start to feel like, hey, there was a big bait and switch that these guys pulled on me. And there really has not been. Procore can do everything that you need. It's just not as clean cut as the salespeople promised. Right? And it just can't be. Right? Engaging your own consultant, right? To take that powerful project management system and make it work the way that you do is the step that gets missed far too often, right? And on that note, I think now is a good time to take a quick break to hear from today's sponsor. And when we get back, I want to talk about, right, kind of the actual processes in engaging a consultant to help you start configuring Procore to your personal business needs, right? So stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, Rocco. So we are sponsoring ourselves yet again today. What is it we want to talk about?
We're going to talk about me today, Jim.
No one wants to talk about you. Not even you.
Oh, fine. Let's talk about ZenTek Tech Blocks.
Awesome. I like ZenTek Tech Blocks. ZenTek Tech Blocks are prepaid support hours that let you call on ZenTek's experienced technical staff to address all your support questions, problems, help you with workflows and standards, really anything you need on the technology side. We're here to provide the support you need so that your most talented people aren't being dragged into helping everybody else in your company instead of working on the billable jobs that you need them focused on. All right. So ZenTek Tech Blocks are available in multiple sizes. We sell them in 5-hour, 10-hour, 20-hour, and 40-hour prepaid support blocks. And if you're interested and you need that sort of help, Rocco, how do they reach out to us?
Yeah, hit up our website, ZenTekConsultants.net. Give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or even drop us an email, sales@ZenTekConsultants.net.
All right, ZenTek Tech Blocks, the vital support that your people need exactly at the moment that they need it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about Certified Procore Consultants today and how we can help you get the return on investment that you wanted when you bought Procore. And in the top of the show, we talked about the problems of Procore not being built, right, to help you with your internal configurations and why a consultant is the right answer for that. And in this half, I want to talk a little bit about the Contech or the construction technology consulting process. And kind of what we see as the best approaches to getting those issues resolved both quickly and cost effectively. And I guess kind of the first thing that I want to hit on here is the methodologies that you can use or that can be used really to get your Procore system working the way that you need it to. And let me start by telling you guys about a method that I don't like or that I don't recommend, and that is hiring any consultant on an hourly basis. There are just way too many unknowns, potential issues, misunderstandings, and technical limitations with any large software system to kind of make that approach viable. Look, sure, if you need someone to develop a single report for you in Procore, hourly can work for that. You know what it is, and you can hire somebody and they can do that. But anything beyond that, you are just begging for dramatic cost overruns and fights with your consultant. And I guess kind of the other common approach to a project like this is really going to be a fixed price contract. And that's better, but it still has concerns, right? The main issue there is that it takes a lot of time to scope out a fixed price structure, right? Because you got to figure out what you need to do. You got to price it. You got to get a signed agreement. And then there are always going to be disagreements over what is and what isn't included and what do we require change orders on. And as a consultant, we have to spend a lot of time up front figuring out what you need done. And these type of contracts for Procore support really only work, to my mind anyway, when you have very specific written out scopes of work and budget enough to meet those, right? And there's a lot of work and time that has to go into building that. What I will say is that we have a third option that we use quite a lot for our Procore clients here at ZenTek, and we call them our tech blocks, all right? And these were developed originally specifically for our Procore consulting work. But when we've kind of seen them grow so popular that we actually offer them now for almost all of the technology systems that we work with and support. So Rocco, I'm going to put you on the spot, right? Why don't you explain to folks the concept of our tech blocks and how they work?
Yeah, so we sell them, it's basically prepaid hours that folks purchase, and the time doesn't expire. You could keep it going for years if you want, and you utilize it towards our tech services. And we allow you to even use it across products. So if you're working with Bluebeam and Procore, for example, you could utilize our tech blocks. And if you purchase a 20-hour block of time, for example, as you chew away at those hours, we send you a summary at the end of each day or each week, depending upon what the engagement, that shows the hours used, what we've done, and your hours remaining. And we find that customers really like that approach. It allows us to build trust back and forth with customers and slowly engage versus, like Jim is saying, going on an hourly structure or strict or a full statement of work that's complex. So that seems to work well, and you can find details about our tech blocks right on our website.
There you go.
ZenTekConsultants.net.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, look, to my mind, right, because like Rocco was saying, right, tech blocks kind of let clients limit their financial risk up front until they can actually see the quality of our work, right? And they become comfortable with our level of experience. They're kind of an ideal way to start what we hope for or hope will become a really long-term partnership, right? Here at ZenTek, our construction tech specialists can sit with your staff, right, under the tech block model, and they can learn all about your current processes and what is working for you, what isn't working for you, what pain points do your users have in Procore, all right, and where is it that you want to take Procore as a company, right, without that fear of like an hourly thing where you're kind of giving us a blank check, right? There's a limit here, and what usually happens with the initial tech block contract is one of two things, right? Either the client is going to just continue renewing the tech block contracts over and over and over, which is really simple, and it's something Rocco can turn around in under a day, so you never lose that support and that work. Or they're going to move up to our managed contact services, which I'll discuss in a little bit here. But the tech block concept, it's really appealing to a lot of people because it lets them develop the processes and procedures that they're not even sure that they need yet, right? They're not 100% sure what they know and what they don't know in Procore, so they can develop that in conjunction with a Procore expert, right, while still having a transparent view of their costs and being able to see in real time the return on investment, right, to be sure that they're on the right course as we're working together. And honestly, almost every tech block client we have, they've just never let their contract with ZenTek lapse. They just keep renewing as each contract runs out. And we've got clients who we've been working with this way for like 5 years or more at this point, and they just love the flexibility of it. And I think from kind of the Procore configuration standpoint, this process kind of lets us set specific goals that we can achieve in the available contract time, right? And my construction specialist can just meet with you as needed, then go off and work on their own time, right? And they can even review add-ons and other apps and other things that might work for you. And they just send you regular updates on the time that they're using and what has been accomplished, right? And you can actually see it. It makes it really easy for us to take the time to understand your processes and really adapt Procore to meet those needs in a way that's really comfortable for both parties. So Rocco, right? The tech block, it's a great start point for us as Procore consultants. But does it really help clients build enough, I guess we'll call it trust in our expertise so that they're comfortable moving forward with us on longer term and larger projects?
Yeah, I think so. Let's face it, we work across the U.S. and Canada, and so where do people find us? They find us through the internet, and so it's hard to pick up the phone or email or get on a Teams call and hang up from the call and say, okay, let's invest $20,000-$30,000 in a company that I've never worked with before.
I won't say no if they want to send me that check. I'm just saying.
Sure. So, working at that smaller level, where you start out with 10, 20, 40 hours, at a time, and you see that time be chewed away, real time, right? Our customers are well engaged with us, and like I said, we give those summary reports, so it allows for that trust to build, and from there, if there's a need, then yeah, we can get into much larger projects. But again, the majority of our customers are small and medium-sized firms. I mean, we've got plenty of large customers, but when it comes to Procore, it's that SMB space, and they've already sort of, quote unquote, been burned by Procore, right? I mean, Jim explained that at the beginning of the show. You're not entirely being burned by Procore. It's just that they're frustrated. So the last thing we want to do is say, okay, spend $40,000 with us. So yeah, the tech blocks definitely work well to build trust.
Yep, I agree. So I think, the next big step for, ZenTek's Procore support system, once that client knows us and trusts us, is we then talk about implementing a system I think is pretty specific to us. I don't think there's really anybody else out there doing this. We call it our managed contact services. And what it is, right? It's an annual fee. Essentially, it's a retainer that lets our specialists work on your Procore and really any other related construction tech system that you need without the need for statements of work or, individual contracts or, tech blocks or, basically you're hiring us to be your contact manager. We can handle, all your configurations and your updates and your processes and your workflow developments and documentation and standards and pretty much anything that you guys need for these big ERP type systems, right? The idea is for us to handle all of the back end technology structures in conjunction with your internal technical director rather than trying to replace that person. Right? We try under these managed contact services, we try to be that person's hands, right? So that they don't have to get bogged down for countless hours in the daily technical processes. And they can focus their time, which is really, I think, where you want them on, meeting with your staff, developing new workflows, determining the most efficient, what are the most money-saving processes, and make recommendations on where the company should go and what we should be implementing. And look, we're always around to assist in those discussions, and we bring a lot of, best practices experience to the table, but we just find that it works best when we're kind of the second banana, so to speak, to your own technical executive. And look, if you guys don't have, like I said, we do a lot of work with SMBs. If you guys don't have anybody in that role, we can certainly handle all of this for you. But we really do like having that one in-house person who can kind of, help guide us in the right direction and pre-approve everything that we do, so it's going to be what you guys want first time out of the gate. It's just a really effective and productive way to work. All right. So I tell you what, folks, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to sum everything we talked about today up like this. Procore is a great system. And while I understand it can seem to be an insurmountably frustrating task to get it working the way that you want it to, it is something that you can achieve if you take the time to find a consultant that you trust. Now, I humbly suggest ZenTek, but that's just because I think we're awesome, or at least I'm awesome. Rocco's semi-awesome. See, I wasn't letting you go. You insulted me at the top of the thing and said I wasn't handsome, so I had to get back at you. All right, folks. With that, we're going to get out of here, and we'll let you all get back to pondering your Procore conundrums. All right, folks, we're out. We'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of ZenTek Consultants. That's Rocco and I. ZenTek Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. ZenTek strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to ZenTek?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through ZenTekConsultants.net. You can email us at sales@ZenTekConsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.